It seemed too good to be true, and it probably was, but she'd hear him out. She got to her feet and moved to him. "I'm listening."
"I've gone through your belongings and seen you've been writing to that no-good outlaw Tait Trinity, talking about being his mail-order bride."
He rubbed his cheek.
"Marry him and gain his trust, then deliver him and the money he's stolen to me."
What money? She knew Trinity had a price on his head, but not what he was wanted for.
"The considerable amount he stole from the railroad. They want it back."
McElroy gave her a twisted grin that brought foreboding.
"There's a sizable reward in it for me."
The man's greed was only exceeded by his thirst for power. Unease told her to tread carefully. She narrowed her gaze. "In exchange for what?"
"I'll free your sister."
Melanie shook her head. "Not good enough. I'll be risking my life and still go to prison? I don't think so."
"Very well. I'll drop all charges against you both, but I keep Ava as insurance. She'll be safe here, and once you're done, you'll both walk free."
Melanie hesitated only briefly. Ava's life meant more to her than anything. "Shake on it?" The judge stuck his arm through the steel bars and sealed the bargain.
"It's a deal. I'll release you in the morning."
He grabbed her arm and pulled her closer.
"Cross me, and I'll kill you and your sister both. Got that?"
At her nod, he dropped his hold, turned, and left the jail. What would happen if she did go through with a marriage to Tait and he learned she'd betrayed him? He was a known killer, and there'd be no one to protect her. Melanie shivered. She'd just made a deal with the devil. How it would end would be anyone's guess. But for Ava, she'd do anything. There was an old cowboy saying, "Never give the devil a ride, or he'd always want the reins." Damn good advice, but even so, sometimes the choice was out of a man's hands. Especially the ill-tempered man challenging Tait to draw. Nearby robins gossiped softly in the breeze, sounding like many of the folk in this outlaw town. The rustle of footsteps behind him ceased. The birds stopped as though on command. His world froze. Tait Trinity waited for death. He didn't blink, didn't swallow, didn't move a muscle except in his flexing hand, inches from the smooth ram's horn grip of his Smith & Wesson. He ignored the single bead of sweat that trickled into the lines of his left eye and stung like hell. To lose focus for even a second could spell death. A young man stood 20 paces in front of him, itching to kill him. He too seemed stuck in time. Anger reddened Ed Behringer's cheeks, and hate filled his deep-set eyes as his palm hovered above the butt of his gun.
"I'm giving you a fair chance. That's more than you gave my brother."
The sun barely had risen on the new day, and Tait had yet to go to bed. A crew of tiny workers inside his head sledgehammered thick iron spikes into his skull, and Behringer's yelling didn't help his headache one bit. Tait stood outside Hope's Crossing's only saloon and tried to steady the swaying boardwalk beneath his feet. It was far too early in the morning to make life-and-death decisions. Tait shook his long hair back, wishing he had his hat. Where had he left it? His opponent's right eye twitched, the only sign of nerves.
"Willie tried to shoot me in the back. He was yellow through and through." "You lie."
Ed shifted slightly. Except for the sneer, he wouldn't be bad-looking.
"Where's your father, Ed? Kern's the one I want. You trying to prove how big you are by coming alone?" "I don't need my father, or any of the rest of my brothers to finish you off." "This fight is between me and Kern. Go get him. I'm not going to shoot unless you force my hand."
Damned his blurred vision, Tait blinked hard. A few onlookers emerged from doorways, the town beginning to awaken. Tait hoped like hell no one else would get caught in the middle of this. Before he could blink, Clay Colby, the founder of the town and himself an ex-outlaw, stalked into Tait's line of sight and hustled everyone back. Ed stared at Tait, hate settling.